back. I don't know exactly what episode it was, but shortly after Kirk Cousins got hurt in the Minnesota Vikings, we had an episode somewhere, I want to say like mid-season, where we were talking about like possible free agency destinations, like where guys could end up. And we started talking about Kirk Cousins because we were pretty sure the Vikings probably weren't going to re-sign him. We weren't 100% sure, but it seemed like it was trending in that direction.
Yeah.
And I remember, it's on the tape. That's why I don't want to just sit there and say, like, I'm pulling it out of my ass. Like, I did actually say this. I said, you know where I think would be a really interesting place to see Kirk Cousins go? The Atlanta Falcons. And there he ends up. Now, when you look at the Falcons this past year, they were competitive inside that division. Pretty good defense, okay? And they were competitive with Desmond Ridder at quarterback. Now, this is no disrespect to Desmond Ridder, but let's just keep a spade a spade. Not a starting caliber quarterback inside the NFL. And they were literally, on the final day of the season, still playing with a shot to make it to the playoffs and win that division. Well, now you bring in a veteran quarterback who's a very good quarterback, I might add. I would say that Kirk Cousins could be argued as a top 10 quarterback right now as it currently stands. You bring him in, a vet who's proven that he can produce and put up fantastic numbers. Okay, you put him in with all these young guys, Bijan Robinson, okay? Kyle Pitts, who it seems like the Falcons have had trouble trying to unlock. All right, well, maybe now Kirk Cousins can go and unlock a guy like that. Drake London. I don't know, like their offensive line could probably use a little bit of improvement, but I think they can go now.
They got a good left tackle.
They do have a good left tackle, but they can now go and figure it out through, the draft too as well. They also bring in Raheem Morris, a very good defensive coach, to a defense that performed fairly well last year. So when I'm looking at the Falcons right now, I think they crushed it in terms of the move they could have made, because if you were looking at the Falcons after this season, what's the biggest need? A veteran or a good, strong quarterback to get the most out of this offense? Well, to me, I think they got that in Kirk Cousins. They bring in a new head coach. I think on paper, a lot of people will probably pick the Bucs to still repeat next year, especially because we'll talk about this, they retained Baker. They obviously kept Mike Evans too as well. Only right probably to give them the nod. But I really like the Falcons, especially in this weaker NFC South. But give me your thoughts on the move.
Listen, I think, Kirk Cousins to Atlanta makes a lot of sense. The Minnesota Vikings run a similar system.
Sure.
So that's the same system as the 49ers, the Rams, Minnesota, and now the Falcons. And so for him, it's an easy transition. He ended up getting $98 million guaranteed on a $180 million contract.
Yep.
So for a 37-year-old quarterback. So I do think that was
and he is coming off the Achilles injury. So
now he's coming off of an Achilles injury. So I do have to make a couple of assumptions. One, that the Falcons did their due diligence, right? And
he looked great in the workouts
fully
that I've
healthy,
seen.
right? And ultimately, he's not a very mobile quarterback. So the
never
Achilles
really
shouldn't
part
be
of
an
his
issue.
game. Sure.
I went through an Achilles injury, and what ends up happening is you end up also focusing on the one that is healthy and strengthening both of them.
Sure.
And so
Tyler Algier, that's the other guy I was thinking about, the other running back.
Gotcha. Really good.
Yep.
And so
they lost Jonnu Smith actually. But.
Not going to hurt anything. Yeah. So, but their weapons are nice. They did bring in Darnell Mooney, right? And so that was a really good pickup. So again, you think about that trio, right, with the running back between London, Mooney now,
Pitts, Bijan, little Tyler. They got a little 1-2 punch at the running back position.
Dangerous cast with a strong defense.
I agree.
That's what I was looking for the Giants to do. But listen, I think Kirk is going to be the best quarterback in that division. I think he's going to propel them to win 9-10 games, potentially win the division. What type of noise are they going to make in the playoffs?
Sure.
Right? Who knows? But ultimately, Raheem Morris was a head coach 10 plus years ago, and he
for the
didn't,
Bucs, right?
For the Bucs,
Jersey native, too, Irvington guy.
Yep, did not have a quarterback.
Yep.
So they went all in getting Cousins so they could have stability at that quarterback position.
Sure.
So I understand why they
shows
did it.
He learned a lot too.
Agreed. He's not going to make the same mistake.
Let me
twice.
Get a vet quarterback.
But let's be honest. Kirk Cousins is a master at getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
He has one playoff win.
Want to talk about getting the bag.
He has received over $300 million in guaranteed football money.
It's good to be a quarterback.
He is going to be a top 5 paid player of all time with one
good point.
playoff victory.
Yep.
So do I think this makes them a contender for a Super Bowl? No. But here's the thing about being in the dance. You got to make it. So
Sure.
if they win their division, they can host a playoff
make the
game.
playoffs,
They have
everybody's
a
got a
lot
shot.
of talent, and I think Kirk could take them to another level. He would have thrown for almost 5,000 yards if he stayed healthy.
Sure.
So listen? Is it the right move? 100%. But am I thrilled or scared that they're going to make a ton of noise?
Yeah.
No, I think the NFC got extremely competitive with some other moves that were made.
Yeah, no, listen, they're in an advantageous position, though, because at the end of the day, they were competitive last year. Now they upgraded majorly at the quarterback position. I would say at bare minimum, it just probably puts them in contention for a playoff spot, especially in a weaker NFC right now. Because outside of, I would say, again, right now in the NFC, I was looking at it, there's like, 3-4 teams that you could probably say pencil in for a playoff spot next year, right? You got the Eagles, you got the 49ers, you got the Cowboys, and you got the Lions. Those are the 4 teams that I would say absolutely surefire, barring no major injuries to any of their star players. Those 4 teams make the playoffs. Well, with the extra 3 spots right now, too, in a weaker NFC, I think that gives the Falcons a great shot. And to your larger point, you just got to get there. Once you get there, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
If they win one playoff game, who knows, right? It's just getting that momentum. I'm with you. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl next year, but I think that their chances of making the playoffs have now gone up exponentially with that move. I really like it. I thought it was the perfect move.